And so I spawned on this jungle tree, on the outskirts of this village, on the outskirts of this continent. Amongst these new, misty hills, the first thing that caught my eye was this flower bed, placed on its own. And I wondered who put it there. And so naturally I went to ask around and meet and greet the residents of this new home. I said my hellos and a small snoop around, though I may have forgot to ask. Though they were kind enough to lend me some bread, and this couple were generous enough to give me a saddle, and even some clothes, so I could blend in with the locals a little more, if I can just squeeze myself into them. Yeah, now I look the part. And so, as I continued exploring, it felt fortuitous. I'd just been gifted a saddle, and then come across this. A small herd of horses, and what looked to me like a farmstead to be. As I made friends with the herd, I couldn't help but wonder what I should do with this coincidence. Should I roam the plains like some kind of Dothraki horse lord? Maybe I should put them to work and create some agriculture for this village that seemed to have none. Perhaps I should leave them be, let them roam, live their lives. But I kept coming back to think of my exploration of the village, see how exposed it was, on all sides except the ocean. Maybe I could use these horses to defend the village, travel far, explore, build, and protect them. But ultimately, the main thing I decided was polka dots over stripes. And perhaps more importantly than that, to stop and enjoy the view. A beautiful savanna to one side, a jungle to the other, and even in the distance, some misty mountains. Atop the hill, I found another horse I thought that could keep mine company. Though taming this one got a bit more precarious than the others. I did think my time in this world was coming to an end already, but things worked out. As much as I did want to let the horses roam free, I could see their wanderlust was going to cause me problems. So, using the spacing that these buildings already provided, I made them a small enclosure to keep them close by. And after a productive first day, I turned in for the night. And with fresh eyes, decided what I should do first. My modest house doesn't have much storage. I do have in mind the safety of the villagers, but I think for anything, I'm just gonna need some materials. Since I have moved into somebody's abandoned home, I did check. It doesn't feel right to tear it down or completely renovate it. So, I think I'm just gonna add a small extension. A lean-to, maybe. Just a shed for me to store some bits and bobs. With some wood acquired, if I'm gonna make the village safe, I need some coal as well, to light the place up. Luckily, there is this small opening, just below the forest. And as luck would have it, I found coal. And once I could make torches, I realised I'd found iron as well. And so the night's activity was obvious. I packed my wooden sword and ventured out into the night. Lighting as I went, I found on the other side of the village, this blacksmith. And it seemed sensible to make use of the service whilst I was here. Yeah, I made these myself. Definitely. Just don't tell anyone. But I popped the measly 2 iron I'd found in the furnace and continued on, lighting a path. Until I was rudely interrupted by the very creatures I was trying to stop. Here I discovered I have no idea how this spear works. I think I must have just gotten lucky flailing it around and hit him on accident. Thankfully still alive in the morning, I headed back to retrieve my iron, craft myself a brand new pair of shears, wonder what on earth that thing does, and then tamper with some evidence. They won't be needing that anymore. I mean, really, how does this thing work? I can hold it out, and then it kind of twists in my hand. Then it starts wobbling, and I get tired. Not quite sure what to do with this thing. But I do know how to use shears, so I set off to get myself my own bed, not allowing myself to get distracted by this cute little guy. Okay, maybe briefly distracted. Now, I've not played Minecraft for some time, but I know there's 2 things that go together. Excuse me? As I was saying, we all know that armadillos and rowboats, 2 peas in a pod. And so I popped this guy in a canoe and took him on a little joyride back home. I think he enjoyed himself. Look, perfectly safe. No casualties. And now I did intend to bring this guy up and into the house, but I struggled for an embarrassingly long amount of time to figure that out and settled for this little corner. Though clearly he had other ideas and didn't so much like his new home. Though I wondered if maybe he could just smell the cameraman and wanted to come and say hi. You're not supposed to acknowledge their existence. Don't look into the camera. You're breaking the 4th wall. Get in. Thank you. I'll have to get him a proper home he's happy with. But for now, he is quite cute. The least I could do is get him a friend. So, another quick trip down the hillside. Can do just that. I then saw this poor gentleman out here in quite a bit of pain and thought I could test my spear out and put him at... Oh, yeah, no, that was all me. I did that. All me. Anyway, back on track. Shear, sheep, bed. Easy as that. And I figured, whilst I'm out for the day, I might as well stock up on materials. And replanting, I got lost in thought, thinking, with the way we view plants, is killing a villager not so bad? So long as I help another be born? Food for thought, until I was distracted by a cute cat. And you know what that means. I had to immediately shift gears and go fishing. I was surprised to notice a fish actually swimming in the lake next to me. And I thought this would be another opportunity to try this spear out. Maybe that's what it's for, spear fishing. And wondered how many other fun ambient creatures there are now to find. I tried to stay on task, but I was really tempted. Though Turns out my fish may have just been an ambient leaf. Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing here, is there? That's awkward. Well, I best get what I came for and turn in for the night. Yes, I may have made myself a bed today, but this one was closer. Sorry. And so, naturally, I headed back to our feline friend. What is he doing? Mining. Of course. No, I naturally went mining next. And then I headed back to, there were some villagers stuck in a hole, so I helped them along their way, and then there was this iron golem also stuck in a hole, and I thought, I can't leave the village undefended. A significant portion of my morning vanished, but I think they were grateful for the help. Though I'm not sure this iron golem knew quite how to express it. Nonetheless, we went on our separate ways, and I finally caught up with my feline friend-to-be. I headed back to where I'd first spotted them, but through the long grass struggled to find them. With the power of a bird's eye view, we were right there, but for some time I worried they had vanished. Fish in hand, I tried to approach, slowly and calmly. Though he didn't seem too interested in hanging out with me. At least, not at first. What a handsome little guy. Back home, I set him up as a foreman for my upcoming construction, and finally returned to the task I'd set myself 2 days ago. I wanted this storage space to be external and accessible, but still look like it was part of the building. And so after I'd decided where is he going? Of course, yes. I remembered in the moment I had gotten some bones from the skeleton earlier, and naturally had to go and tame the local wolves. Though forgetting I'm actually not that much of a dog person, especially when they make this noise. And so, you know how they used to use canaries in mines to let people know when the mine was dangerous? Yeah. Sorry, guys. If it's any consolation, or karma for that, one thing that plagued me through this week was every day these horses escaped, and I'd have to chase them down, and I couldn't figure out how they were doing it. Conspiring against me. Right in front of my eyes. All week, I didn't notice this. Yeah, you're just going to be nonchalant about it as well? Cheeky bastard. And perhaps more embarrassingly still, as I've been coming and going, toing and froing around the village, I've been passing the armadillos, and they drop these scoots. I noticed with them you can make something called wolf armor. And boy was I excited to put it on. I thought I'd look sick. I wondered what armadillo wolf armor would even look like. And here is me realizing that I am not a wolf. And this armor is not for me. At least I can put it to use. There you are, buddy. You look, yeah. Yeah, you look great. Finally free of animal-based distractions, I finally got round to the other half of what I was supposed to do now 3 days ago. Securing a border for the village. I felt that the ocean was secure enough, and I wasn't feeling brave enough to tackle the jungle just yet. But a nice fence along this plains side should keep the worst of the monsters out. And come nightfall, I did another round of lighting, just to make sure things were as safe as could be. As you can see, right now, things are not quite as safe as they could be. Maybe I'll, wait out the night here. Yeah, that seems for the best. On my way back home, I came across this interesting spot. This lagoon that flows in from the ocean and half submerges this cave. Something to put a pin in, maybe. I think this could be something interesting down the line. I'm picturing a grand harbour with cranes lifting boats up to the village. Keeping humble for now. For the lean-to, I didn't want to jacket it in blocks. That would make it the same width as the entire house. I wanted it to fit a smaller profile. I'm not completely happy with these trapdoors as they are, but I think that's a start. Perhaps with a small roof jutting out under the existing one, and some support poles, maybe we'll be onto something. Though, I'm out of materials again. The evening brought the rain, and I decided to push through the night, working and gathering some more wood. Though the bread I had been so generously given earlier was starting to run thin, and I was starting to get hungry in this farmless village. Starvation led me to the horse feed. And as I sat in the rain, in the dark, eating soggy horse feed, I figured a farm ought to be on the to-do list. Now, if I was going to make myself a farm, I needed to move some water. And to move some water, I needed a bucket. And to get a bucket, I needed more iron. And so I spent a lot of time down in the mines. And I only found one singular piece of iron. Luckily, that is all I needed. Unluckily, some friends had moved in whilst I was gone. Not just my house, the armadillos as well. This was bad. With a bandit captain in the village, this could go horrendously wrong. Oh shit, I stripped the door. Oh, but I need to... Oh, everyone's gonna die, but... No, this is important. No, I've gotta go... Fine, I'll fix it. Yeah, I've got my priorities straight. And with the true emergency dealt with, I came back around to deal with the captain. Oh, at least I thought I had. Come here. The village safe from a threat I had not anticipated. I got some rest, and decided tomorrow I should split my efforts between the good of my house and the good of the village. As I toed and froed, waiting for the farm to grow, I expanded where I could, and built my little lean-to in between. Of course, with the help of my little foreman here. Between trips, I headed off to distant woods to get myself some new colours, and I think that looks a little better. I do find it therapeutic to watch the crops grow and the hydration spread. I was particularly interested in this one stubborn corner that didn't want to play along, at least for the first couple days. And so, in short, this week I built a lean-to. And I suppose met some friends along the way. Aren't they cute little guys? Horses 1, 2, 3, and... Oh, will you just stay put? Thank you.